Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 255. I'm Barry Fair. And welcome to all of you out there on YouTube today, wherever you may be watching. Now, I have my special guest from Thursday morning show, Matt. Good morning to you. Welcome back to the show again. And today we're going to be talking about how COVID has affected some people and ruined plans for everybody. Now, we'd like to hear your thoughts about all of this morning. So leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Joining me now in the studio, good morning to Matt Brown.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Barry? Good to see you again, mate. Thanks for having me back. And today, yes, we're just talking about before what the numbers could be today. So we're having a little guessing game to see each day what we think the numbers will be before the 11 o'clock broadcast.
So this program is proudly sponsored by the New South Wales government. Thank you to all the governments there that keep us safe during this difficult time. And we'd also like to open the show with not breaking the rules. Now, breaking the rules. No, you cannot do that. You cannot even leave your local council area or your local government area, as they are called. Here's my outsider for his opening sequence on this.
Yes, to elaborate on what Barry said, keep in your local area. Don't go outside that local area unless you're an essential worker and you have the right to go outside. Otherwise, please stay home. Please keep everyone safe by keeping your mask on. Thank you.
So, if you don't have to leave home, guys, do not, we repeat, do not leave home unless you've got a legitimate, good reason and a valid reason too. Here's my outsider.
The only reason you really should be leaving is because you're number one, essential worker, two, for food, three, for exercise. I can't even think if there's a fourth one. Is there, Barry? Is there a fourth one after exercise?
Yes. For medical appointments.
There we go, for medical appointments. So they're the only 4 points you should be leaving home. The sooner we do this, the sooner we get out of this.
So, like we just said, you do not leave home unless you've got a good, legitimate, valid reason, and don't go to the hospital unless you really have to, because on Sunday night, a woman went to see her son at the Northern Beaches Hospital. Now that is wrong. Here's my outsider.
Okay. But Barry, you'll have to elaborate on that. I don't know anything about that. So,
well, on Sunday night there was an infected woman wanting to see her son in the emergency department there.
And she knew she was infected? Wow. Okay.
So,
yep.
Do not go to the hospital, and we will just pause there for a moment. Well, as we were saying, do not go to the hospital unless you really have to put off any hospital visits unless you are authorized to do so. Here's my outsider.
Yes, well, thanks, Brad. I didn't know that that someone would gone to the hospital knowing that they're infected. So that's very unfortunate and quite selfish to put healthcare workers and other healthy patients at risk. This is a perfect example of why we should be listening and doing what we're told. Yes, it's not nice to sometimes do what you're told, but it's for the greater good, not yourself.
So don't just think you can do what you want to do when you want to do. Stay at home, everybody. Here's my offside.
Staying home is the safest thing to do because you're not putting yourself at risk or anyone else at risk. And that's what it's about.
So if you don't have to go out, guys, please don't go. And we will be saying this all throughout the lockdown until it ends. Here's my offside.
Yes, well, the quicker we all get our vaccines, I think is the only answer, Barry, to really get out of this is people getting a vaccine. And that way I think we should be able to move around. If people get get vaccinated twice, not just once, guys. Make sure you get it done twice. The sooner we do that, the better.
So please, we know that you'd like to get out and see your loved ones in hospital, but you can always ring the hospital, find out what ward they're on, and you can talk to them directly there. Here's my outsider.
Until the government says you're allowed to go out and resume life as normal, that's the way it's got to be. You know the rules, stick to them, do it, we'll get through this together.
And we'd like to thank the New South Wales government for keeping us safe because that is very important that we stay safe and we abide by the rules. Here's my outsider.
It's a tough job for anyone to govern and lead a state. There's always going to be people who don't like what they're doing, but at the end of the day, they've got the right outlook. They want to protect us, the citizen, from getting this horrid flu-like disease. So it is a lot more severe than just the flu. So please listen and do it.
So now it's time to talk about how the lockdown has affected us all. The lockdown has affected us all in many different ways. Okay, it has ruined people's plans to go away, to go to the pubs and clubs, and to concerts and that. And we'd like to hear your thoughts about how the lockdown has affected you. So drop us a line here on the show, email me. Okay, you can email me or leave a comment down below. And I'd like to hear from you today how this lockdown has affected you. And why you have been locked down for a reason. Well, the same reason which has been given since the start of the show. Now, we'd like to hear your thoughts about how the lockdown has treated you. So, how has the lockdown treated you, Matt?
Oh, look, it hasn't been an easy adjustment because, we all have friends and family. We miss those people. I think that's probably the hardest thing, Barry, is the connection, but actually physically seeing someone and saying hello, being able to touch them. I think that's probably the hardest thing. We are social human beings, but we don't like to be locked down, but we have to. And you've got to look after each other, like you rightly said. Mental health, check how your friends are going. See how they're feeling. Some people probably not doing it easy. Be there for someone. Be there to listen.
And ring your friends on the phone. Organise a Zoom meeting. Here's my offside.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect segue there, Barry. It's true. Just because you can't see them in person, well, there's always the phone. There's Zoom meetings. You have the opportunity with this time being locked at home to connect and have some quality time with friends and family.
And it's important to ring 000 if you are not very well, so you can get the ambulance to assess you, but only do it in an emergency. Here's my offside.
Correct. The 000 numbers there is only there for people who genuinely need it. So please don't clog up the telephone lines with your prank calls or just asking silly questions. That line is to be left open for people who drastically need that.
So don't be an absolute fool with that number. We will give you advice on that at the end of part 2 of today's show, which is coming up. But you have to remember, guys, that 000 is not a chit chat line. Okay? It's not for pizza deliveries. Not for getting a lift to a doctor or your work site or to get a lift home. They are not a taxi service. Here's my offside.
Exactly right. The 000 number is there for emergencies and emergencies only. Emergencies got to do with your life. That's what it's about.
Because the difference, it is the difference between life and death. Here's my offside.
And the people that need it are genuinely need it when they need it. I know that sounds like a tongue twister, but Barry will tell you if he needs to call 000, he wants to make sure he gets through and speaks to someone. He doesn't want to be waiting because he doesn't have time. He needs that help now.
Because, like, for example, yesterday we nearly had to call, but we didn't have to. But in the event of an emergency, if I do need it, guys, please do not clog up the number for trivial issues like pizza deliveries, groceries, stuff like that. Or going to the movies, don't do that. And here is my offside to tell you about not ringing 000 for the wrong reasons.
000 is an emergency number. We all know that. It shouldn't be used by kids playing around, someone just trying to get a kick. That number is there for the police, the fire, the ambulance. And when you need to call that number, and I hope that never you have to call that number, but if you have to, you want to make sure you speak to someone straight away who can get to you and help you straight away.
And we're going to take a break right now on the show and get ready for our conference at 11. So we will come back to you after the conference. We're going to talk more about how the lockdown has affected you and more about the right reasons to call 000 and when not to call it, because with the approaching school holidays next month, there is bound to be some ning-nongs who think, oh yeah, let's call the ambulance and pretend that there's someone being shot when there hadn't. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, if you know of anyone that does these prank phone calls, please, please, tell their parents, tell someone who's an authority figure to them, so they can be reprimanded, because otherwise they'll just keep doing stupid jokes.
Because what if it was me there, here right now? I could need that help and some kid is playing around with that number and the kid, the paramedics would be stuck at their house.
Right.
And that's just an example. So we're going to talk more about why we shouldn't bring 000 and when should we ring it and the case numbers. So that is all coming up right here on the Daily Raps, episode 255. Here's Matt to take us out to the break and to tell us what's coming up.
So yeah, before we go to the break, just have a think about those important points that we're talking about: 000 number, vaccinations, staying at home and listening to the government.
So we will have more of this discussion in part 2, and that is coming up straight after the conference coming up at 11 o'clock. It is Tuesday, the 10th of August. I'm Barry Fair alongside Matt Brown.
That'll do.
And we'll be back with you straight after the conference. Stay with us, everybody. You're watching episode 255. Stay with us. Good morning, everyone. Barry and Matt here with a COVID update to open part 2 of episode 255 today. 356 cases in the community and 1/3 out in the community. Now, that was up until 8 o'clock last evening. So a very high number indeed. So unfortunately, once again, the numbers keep going up and down like a yo-yo. That's how I would like to put it. So, like Dr. Chan said, get your vaccines if you haven't had them yet. There are plenty of vaccine centers open. And here's Matt now to open the second part of our program with that. Good morning. What do you think of that figure?
Thanks, buddy. Welcome back. Yeah. So, look, unfortunately, the numbers keep going up as we've just seen this morning. And that comes down to what Barry and I were just discussing on our way back here is, unfortunately, people are moving around, whether they're allowed to or not, but they're moving into broader communities. And the problem that I see happening is that by the time we know this person's infected, it's about 5 days that person's been walking around in the community before they realise that person could be a problem. That's what I see is happening. We don't know if someone's infected now. Otherwise, we could say, right, where have you been today? Let's go back. It's 3, 4, it's 5 days. And there's only one way to combat this, and that's get vaccinated. Simple as that.
And if you don't need to go out, please do not go out.
Yep.
Get Matt to take up that message.
Yeah, if you can stay home, stay home. If you're not an essential worker, we've talked about this before, food, uh, exercise, doctor's appointments, stay home, get your vaccination. Yes, I know it can be frustrating online. It can take a while to get a booking in, but so be it. That means that everyone's getting it done, which is great. The longer that these queues get as long as the queues get shorter, it means that more and more people have had vaccinated. But at the moment, we need to have more people vaccinated.
So there are plenty of vaccination centers open today. So please do go and get vaccinated, guys. Please do that. If you haven't had your vaccinations done yet, talk to your local GP, guys. That's all you've got to do. And if you've been to a hotspot, like we said, please do isolate for 14 days, like the Australian team are going to do, because they flew in from Tokyo this morning. I saw that on the news prior to us coming to air this morning. So if you've been out of the country or state, please do so isolate. But if you have to isolate in a hotel for 2 weeks, you have to pay at your own expense. Here's Matt now.
Yes, the isolation. If you come into contact with anyone that you think that could be carrying this Delta strain or COVID strain, please don't be selfish. Lock yourself down, and we can get through it.
Which I'm sure we can do.
Yes.
But like Matt and I have said, guys, please don't be selfish. Think of others who have had the vaccination. Okay, it's only a 2 second job. Okay, I think there are drive-through vaccine centers, but I'm not sure of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not at the moment. The way that people are getting them is either through your doctor, but even that's a long wait. And there's a site that you can go to and go and book for us in Sydney, Homebush. We have the what else? The medical. I think there's one over in near Macquarie Park there too, Barry. That you can go online, book your date in, and there's even a website that a young, smart teenager has done. So people aren't turning up to their appointments on the day if they've cancelled. There's an instant alert that they can get in that area, and you can go and get your jab. So that's good on that young kid for doing that.
So kids can be smart when they want to be.
100%.
And the important thing is, guys, we will continue now, which brings us on to, again, like we discussed in part one, how has the lockdown treated you? Have you talked to anyone about how you felt? Because Matt and I would like to hear your thoughts about all of this morning on episode 255, and we may even recap this tomorrow on episode 256. So there are still plenty of episodes to come up before I do leave here in a couple of months' time. We know that it's been absolutely frustrating, guys, and you want to get out and enjoy the pleasures of life, like going to clubs and restaurants and all of that. But remember, don't go and flout the rules and say I'm over it. Please do talk to someone. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, people are, and if you know of anyone that's flouting these rules, have a word to them. You know, you're the only, if they're not going to listen to themselves, which they're not, you need to stand up and put them in their place and say that you're contributing to the spread. Until people stand up and say, no, I'm not going to have it, you're going to stay in, we're just going to keep getting more and more people getting sick with this Delta strain.
So if someone says I want to go out today in the van,
Exactly right. Stand up and tell them. Say, no, you can't do that.
not even around the block.
Yeah, that's for a joyride. Stay in your car if you've got to go out. If you have to go, stay in your car. Don't get out. You don't need to. You know, just think about someone else. Don't be selfish.
Because if the police catch you going out of your local government area, that is a $1,000 fine, guys, or a $1,100 fine. Okay, please don't tell absolute lies about where you've been, because the police will immediately turn your vehicle around, no matter where you are, whether it's in a hot spot, okay, or even up the road in DY. Here's my outside.
Yeah, obey the rules. Obey the rules. It's it's not really a tough message. Sorry, it's a tough message to get across to people who don't understand, who are selfish. For the people who are doing well, and I'm sure many of your listeners are, Barry, they're doing the right thing. So you also need a pat on the back and we say thank you.
So we say thank you to those who are listening and those that should hang their heads in shame, like the protest a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was absolutely woeful and absolutely people. Okay, when I say people were absolutely pea-brains when they did that.
Yep.
I'm sure Matt would agree on that.
100%. 100%. That's the quickest way to spread the spread quicker and quicker. The flare up from that is now being seen in the local government areas, especially around Western Sydney, where there is major hotspots over there, all because of some idiots thinking that they have rights, not caring about anyone.
So just going over some of the rules again before we go on to Triple O again. Please think about others, congratulate others who are doing the right thing, okay, and don't criticize them. Here's my outsider.
Good point. Don't criticise someone. You should be giving them a pat on the back saying thank you. Because the more people that listen, the more people don't have to go to hospitals and use these emergency services. Do they, Barry?
No, so we know it's been absolutely frustrating, guys. We understand that. But please, we're going to say this again tomorrow on the show. On episode 256, because we feel that it's time that you people that I'm doing the right thing get this message, watch this video. I mean, with the guy that went to Byron Bay, I just don't comprehend.
Plonker. He's a plonker. the idea of going up there and I don't have to scan in and I don't have to do this and I don't have to do that. Well, now it's cost thousands of people their jobs in Byron. Everyone's in a lockdown because of one Muppet. And that was just one person spreading that's closed down a town. Imagine how many other thousands of people or hundreds of people are doing that around Sydney now and each state.
And it's made it hard for the Premier to make sensible decisions for us down here in Sydney. So
it's a tough job being the Premier.
It's a tough job, guys. So
we can all do our bit too, can't we, Barry, as we've been talking about the last two episodes of today's broadcast.
Well, the last two parts.
Sorry, last two parts, yes.
So, please, you don't have to go anywhere for no legitimate reason, guys. Please don't go. Stay home. We know it's boring as anything, but it's for your own protection and safety, and that way you won't spread your germs to anyone else. And we are not being mean when we say these things, because we really do care about you lot out there who are doing it tough. So please don't take this personally. We are only bringing this episode to you so that we can show you that we really do care about you people out there. Do you have anything to say on that, man?
I think that's pretty good. It's true that, the quicker we listen, the quicker we get our jab, the quicker we can move on. If people are slow and they don't learn and no one's telling them, this is just going to go on and on and on. So you have a voice, make sure you stick up and you tell your friends to do the right thing. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't criticize me. Well, we'd like to close the program on about the appropriate way and the inappropriate way of using 000, because 000 is a vital number here in Australia, like Queensland, Melbourne, Tasmania, Canberra, Perth, Darwin, the Northern Territory, everywhere. So the reasons that you should call 000 if there's a car accident, fire, assault, somebody not breathing properly or falling over, that sort of thing. Here's Matt now.
100% what Barry said. That number is for emergencies, not for idiots to ring up when they're drunk or on drugs or they're bored. You just need someone to talk to. That line's there for emergencies that are life-threatening.
So don't use that number unless you really have to, because as you can, I can't show you this now, but the police will be knocking on your door if you make a prank 000 call, because the wrong call can cost somebody their life. Now, you shouldn't ring 000 when you haven't got a genuine emergency, like you've stubbed your toe, or you can't open a can of cat food, or you just need a lift to the shops. That is just being lazy. Here's Matt now.
Yes, and from what we heard, there's over 8.8 million phone calls that come through these emergency switchboards every year, and 3.3 million calls are prank calls. Now that is valuable time wasted for those poor operators and drivers of the ambulance, police, fire brigade that could be helping people who need it.
Like me, for example.
Perfect example.
So, if you don't have a genuine emergency, leave triple O alone, and if it's not fixed, if it's not broken, why fix it? Here's my offside.
Please keep off the telephone. I really hope you don't need to use it. So when one day you do need it, you'll fully appreciate the service that these people do.
And don't be abusive towards the paramedics when they arrive, and tell the ambulance officers what is really wrong. Don't tell them lies. It's the same when you're putting the call through to the ambulance. Tell them what is really going on. And stick to your story. Here's Matt now.
Yeah, please just call them when you absolutely need them. They're there to help, and they want to help. So do your best to help them do their job. They're just doing a job, just like any of us do a job. But their job is critical. And your help and behaviour is appreciated.
So we'd like to end the show now by saying thank you so much for your company on episode 255 today. We really do appreciate you tuning in and watching the show today. And just before we go, 356 cases and 1/3 in the community, so do bear that in mind. There will be more details of today's numbers on your local news bulletins. Do watch your local news about what's been happening. And we will be back here again tomorrow at the same time. But that's it from Matt and I today on episode 255. Episode 256 is coming up tomorrow at the same time. And thanks for your company. And here's Matt now for his closing segment about 000 again before we go and his farewell.
The 000, please just keep that line open for genuine people who have life-threatening emergencies. So, hope you enjoyed the show today. We look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Comment on the comments below. Otherwise, you can email Barry as well. He'd love to hear from you. So, thanks again.
And this program has been brought to you by the New South Wales government. They do a wonderful job. And if you are watching out there, Gladys, keep up the good work. And I look forward to tomorrow's conference and listening to what you have to say. And to all the ministers out there, you have a great day. And from Matt and I now, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for your company today. We'll see you tomorrow. The lunch break is coming up at 12 midday. You take care. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.